From Carrie's stables going up in flames in episode 12, season 10, to Ty's unexpected death in the season 14 opener, these are Heartland's controversial scenes that shocked fans. To kick things off, let's talk about the season 10 episode where Carrie's stables burned down. If you thought Heartland, a wholesome country show about horses, was all sunshine and pony rides, boy, were you wrong. At first, it was just dear old Tim helping Casey score some fancy new stables for her rodeo horses. 'Cause you know, Tim's just a good dude like that. But guess what? The stables went up in smoke, and the only survivor was Tim's new barrel racing buddy, Morgan. This scene left fans in shock. Now, we all know Heartland always throws us a lifeline with a happy ending, but was the fire scene really necessary? I'm still debating that one. Making viewers watch horses burn to death kinda messed up. This scene was steeped in controversy because it ended in a blame game over what, or shall I say, who, caused the fire. Tim wasn't just losing his horses left and right, but also being blamed for the whole catastrophe. Imagine the trauma. Now, of course, the big reveal came later with the fire chief breaking the news about the dodgy wiring, but not before poor old Tim had been dragged through the mud. But the tragedies didn't end there. Fans were left wondering if this was the Heartland they had signed up for, especially after episode 3 of Heartland's 15th season, which involved an animal that we all had a soft spot for, being abused. Remember Challenge from season 14? Yeah, the one who used to have a major case of the jitters around humans, and the one Amy painstakingly helped to not be so fidgety anymore. Well, get ready for a bombshell. In the episode titled Bad Moon Rising, there was a mega twist that left us all gasping. This scene involved Mac, one of the kids that Amy was teaching at the center, locking Challenge in a stall and terrorizing him with bang snaps. Let me tell you, the showrunners did not hold back on the animal abuse in this scene. I mean, we witnessed full-blown animal cruelty here. And get this, most of the other kids, they were just standing there doing nothing, except for Logan, who refused to put up with Mac's behavior and eventually snatched away his bag of explosives. He then proceeded to take a swing at Mac, who dodged and bolted, leaving Logan fuming in his wake. Now, with everyone else gone, it was just Logan and Challenge. So Logan carefully freed him from the stall and walked him back to the paddock. While this scene was disturbing to watch, seeing Logan fight for Challenge made it wholesome. But here's where it stung. The showrunners decided to pile even more trauma onto Challenge. I mean, I finally get why the horse would freak out whenever Mac was nearby. But the brutal reality of animal abuse, especially coming from a troubled kid like Mac, was a hard pill to swallow. No wonder. This episode hit me right in the feels. And episode 14 of season 6, when Jeremy and Ty went head-to-head, was just as gut-wrenching. This scene had fans on the edge of their seats, and everyone was as surprised when they found out the real truth behind Buckingham's death. Now keep in mind, everybody knew Jeremy was a piece of work, but straight up murdering his horse? That's cold, even for him. Poor old Buckingham. The horse's death broke so many fans' hearts. But things got a lot more heart-wrenching. Turns out our dear Buckingham was a victim of an overdose. And guess who was the last one to treat him? Yep, it was our boy Ty. Ty's guilt trip over his fatal error was something. So much so that it even had me feeling a pinch of pity for him. But that's not all. Heartland didn't shy away from delivering some serious consequences for Ty. Thanks to a bunch of insurance issues, he had to pack his bags and leave the clinic. And then, the plot took a darker turn, when Mallory suggested that Jeremy might be hiding something. As Ty and Amy started to poke around, they discovered that Jeremy had overinsured Buckingham for $100,000. Talk about a shocking reveal. So, Ty, now suspecting foul play, confronted Cassandra, Jeremy's then-girlfriend, about Jeremy's presence at the clinic on the night of the overdose. Her story didn't exactly line up, leading Ty to go all undercover detective and break into Jeremy's trailer. Now, he didn't find any hard evidence, but he did find Jeremy's search history filled with grim research on horse-killing drugs. This roller coaster ride reached its chilling climax when Ty returned to his trailer, only to find Jeremy waiting for him with a beer and a shotgun. Tense. But Jeremy took off without confirming or denying his involvement in Buckingham's death. Cassandra later admitted that Jeremy did leave for a bit that night, but Jeremy had already disappeared with his trailer by then. Talk about a heart-stopping scene. This epic showdown between Ty and Jeremy was easily one of the most intense moments in Heartland's history. Imagine being so twisted as to kill your horse just for insurance money. Man, this show knows how to pull some serious punches. Speaking of which, later on in the show, Scott and Ty bumped into yet another Tennessee Walker who'd been treated cruelly by his owner, this dirtbag named Sam Handler. And what did our girl Amy do? She went undercover at Handler's ranch to find some proof of his wrongdoings. Talk about suspense. This scene was a total nail-biter. Amy's risky escape after freeing another horse from Handler's grasp had my heart pounding, I kid you not. And just when we thought she was trapped, wrapped, in swooped Scott and Ty like heroes in a Western, lending a hand just in the nick of time. But that's not all. After all the drama, we got this super intense heart-to-heart between Ty and Amy, where Ty asked her to always be honest with him. It was pure emotion, folks. This episode was easily one of the most controversial ones ever aired, but gotta hand it to the showrunners, they produced the heck out of it. That said, Heartland usually sticks to the bright side of horse riding, but they certainly didn't shy away from exposing the grimy underbelly of the sport here. Season 12, Episode 7 started pretty calm until Scott found an abandoned horse that had been subjected to soaring. It only took 6 minutes for this episode to send shockwaves down one's spine. The story kicked off with Scott Cardinal responding to a distress call and finding a desolate, abandoned horse. Ty got called in, and he quickly decided that the horse, now named Lucked Out, would get better care at Heartland.
He's one lucky horse.
Yeah, you sure did luck out, didn't you? Maybe that's what we'll call you. Lucked out. You like that?
So off they went, transporting this poor, tormented animal to a place of healing. And then came the emotionally intense scene. Amy dropped the bombshell. She spotted the painful evidence of soaring. Now, for those who don't know, soaring is the practice of forcing horses to step higher for show purposes. Just thinking about it makes my skin crawl. This revelation sent shockwaves through Heartland and taught us that it's not all galloping in sunlit meadows and winning blue ribbons. Some horses are forced to endure unimaginable torture. But despite watching several dark episodes like this one, nothing, I repeat nothing, could have prepared us for the most jaw-dropping twist in Heartland history. Yep, you guessed it. I'm talking about Ty's death in Season 14. One minute he's leading Spartan around the barn, the next he's face down in the grass. Like, seriously? No one saw that one coming. It was such a controversial way to kick off a Heartland season. Even now, viewers can't shake off the aftershock of that season opener. Well, remember back in Season 13 when he and Amy caught a bullet meant for a deer from some nearby poacher? They were both in critical condition, but they survived. Well, here's the shocker. Ty didn't fully recover. In an unexpected and heartbreaking twist, Ty developed a blood clot from that wound, and it turned out to be fatal. The real kicker, though, is that Graham Wardle, aka Ty, planned his exit all along. It's for a microphone and a pen.
And I have not made this decision lightly. I have spent a few years now contemplating and trying to figure out how to honor myself.
Now, Amber Marshall, our beloved Amy, has opened up about how the show has taken on a gloomier vibe after Ty's death. Let's face it, this was one of the most unexpected and controversial plot twists the producers have ever thrown at us, especially considering Ty's significance in the show. And let me tell you, Graham's exit wasn't easy for the fans or the show. So there you have it, from Ty's unexpected death in the Season 14 opener, to Carrie's stables going up in flames in Episode 12, Season 10. Those were Heartland's controversial scenes that shocked fans.